December 1st, the Habs were dead last in the East, second to last overall in the entire NHL. Since then, Montreal number one in the entire NHL in terms of points per game. Craig, has this now shifted the Habs' way of thinking from rebuild to buyers?
Gino, those aren't mutually exclusive concepts. You can be in rebuild mode and you can also be looking to be a buyer, considering how your team is playing. Ultimately, when you're rebuilding, what you want to do is put your team and your players in a position where they can taste a little bit more of the demands when the games get harder, where the challenges become greater, and you have the ability to have a little bit of support around them. So when you're doing that and helping those players, you're also looking who are the players that you could get in to help in that regard. And that's where you come into the buyer part of it. I'll tell you a little story. When I was in Calgary in 2001 at the trade deadline, Lou Lamoriello phoned me and he asked me about Tommy Abilene, a very experienced defenseman, somebody that won a Stanley Cup, and he asked me about trading him. And I said, you know, I'm not really interested in trading him. And Lou and I went back and forth. He goes, well, if you change your mind, let me know. But Lou did ask me what my thinking was. And my thinking was, I have Robin Regeer, I have Tony Ludman, I have Derek Morris, and I have Denny Gauthier. 4 young defensemen. I think we had 17 or 18 games left. I didn't just want to throw them to the wolves. I felt that Tommy Abilene could be a really good player for them as we went through that part of our season. And he was, and Tommy embraced it. I asked him if he wanted to be traded. He said no. So I think that when you look at the Montreal Canadiens and you look at where their young players are at, I think being a buyer helps with the rebuild. I'm not saying sell it all out and give up everything, but you can help the rebuild by being a buyer based on how the Montreal Canadiens have been playing.
Habs GM Kent Hughes said, we've got 22 games before the trade deadline. We've got to see where we are before we're ready to make any decisions. Now, beyond winning, because that's obvious, what else does Hughes need to see to help him make that decision about what to do between now and the deadline?
I think continuity in their play, continuity where Martin St. Louis talks about playing with the right process, playing with the right mindset. That's how they've moved up in the standings. That's how they've moved themselves into playoff contention, and that's what you want to see. Now, obviously, Kent Hughes isn't going to be able to wait 22 games. He's got to be evaluating right now, and he's got to be encouraged right now. And along with that, has to be making phone calls right now to understand what is out there. For me, and I'm going to suggest somebody that I think could really help this team is Yanni Gourde. He's an unrestricted free agent in this coming summer. He's won 2 Stanley Cups, a center that can come in and play hard minutes and show the way to the young players when the games get harder. I think that that type of player, if not that specific player in the middle of the ice, would be a great addition for the Montreal Canadiens and help them with the rebuild and help them remain in contention.
There you go. They've heard it now. Not long ago, Habs fans were looking at the draft lottery. Now they've got their sights set on a playoff spot. The view's gotten a whole lot better over the last 6 weeks.